The quaint town of Glenwood was bathed in the golden hues of autumn. Leaves crunched underfoot, a symphony of decay. A gentle breeze carried the scent of wood smoke and damp earth. The days were growing shorter, shadows stretching longer with each passing hour. An unsettling stillness pervaded the air, a harbinger of the approaching winter. Glenwood held secrets, whispered tales passed down through generations. Mysteries lingered in the shadows of its history. The townsfolk knew better than to tempt fate, especially as the veil between worlds thinned with the dying of the light. The Slender Man, a creature of myth and nightmare. He was said to haunt the woods surrounding Glenwood, a spectre preying on the vulnerable. His eerie, elongated figure and blank white face sent shivers down her spine, yet she couldn't resist the allure of the legend. One crisp afternoon, her curiosity got the better of her. She decided to explore the abandoned mansion on the outskirts of town, a place whispered to be a haunt of the Slender Man. Armed with nothing but a flashlight and her wits, she approached the imposing structure. The wrought-iron gates, rusted and overgrown with ivy, creaked open as if in protest. The air grew colder, a palpable sense of dread descending upon her. Despite her fear, Lena pressed on, drawn deeper into the mystery. The mansion loomed before her, a gothic silhouette against the darkening sky. Its windows, like vacant eyes, stared back at her. The once grand facade was now crumbling, consumed by decay and neglect. As she stepped inside, a musty odour filled her nostrils, the scent of time and forgotten things. The grand hall was shrouded in shadows, the only light filtering through cracks in the boarded-up windows. Dust motes danced in the air, swirling patterns that hinted at unseen movement. Lena's flashlight beam cut through the gloom, revealing faded grandeur and the oppressive weight of the past. She ventured deeper into the mansion, drawn by an unseen force. Each creaking step sent echoes reverberating through the silence. Down a darkened hallway she discovered a hidden door leading to the basement. The air grew noticeably colder. The basement was a subterranean labyrinth of damp stone and cobwebs. The oppressive darkness pressed in on her, amplifying every sound. Water dripped from the ceiling, each drop a tiny hammer blow on the silence. Lena's flashlight flickered, casting grotesque shadows that danced on the walls. Then she heard it, a low, guttural growl, barely audible above the pounding of her heart. It seemed to emanate from the very walls themselves. Her breath caught in her throat and her hand trembled, the flashlight beam wavering erratically. She pressed on, her fear a tangible presence beside her. The air grew thick with anticipation, a sense of being watched. As she rounded a corner, she saw it, a tall, slender figure shrouded in darkness, standing at the far end of the corridor. The figure stood motionless, its form indistinct in the shadows, but Lena could feel its eyes upon her, cold and predatory. Her blood ran cold. It was the Slender Man. There was no mistaking the unnatural height, the elongated limbs, the unsettling absence of a face. Panic surged through her, threatening to overwhelm her. She stumbled back, her foot catching on a loose stone. The flashlight slipped from her grasp, plunging her into absolute darkness. The growling sound intensified, closer now, accompanied by a low, whispering voice. She scrambled back, her hands scraping against the rough stone floor. She had to get out, to escape the clutches of this nightmare. But the darkness was all-encompassing, blinding her. The whispering grew louder, seeming to seep into her very mind. Then a glimmer of hope. As her eyes adjusted to the darkness, she noticed a faint light emanating from beneath a pile of debris in a far corner. With renewed determination, she crawled towards it, her heart pounding in her chest. Brushing aside the rubble, she discovered a small wooden chest, its hinges rusted and groaning as she lifted the lid. Inside, nestled amongst yellowed parchment and decaying fabric, lay a leather-bound journal. Hope surged through her. Perhaps this held the key to escaping this nightmare. The journal was cold to the touch, the leather dry and cracked. As she opened it, a musty odour wafted up, the scent of aged paper and forgotten secrets. The pages were filled with faded ink, the spidery handwriting documenting ancient rituals and forgotten lore. Section 7. The Ritual. This chapter delves into the mysterious and eerie practices that have been passed down through generations. One entry in particular caught her eye. It was unlike anything she had ever read before, filled with cryptic symbols and ominous warnings. It spoke of the Slender Man and a ritual to ward off the entity. The description was chilling, detailing the steps with an unsettling precision. The words were written in a frantic hand, the ink blurred as if by tears. It was clear that the writer had been in a state of utter panic. It was a desperate plea, a last-ditch attempt to survive a terrifying encounter. The fear was palpable, seeping through the pages. The ritual involved drawing protective symbols on the floor and reciting an incantation. Each symbol had to be drawn with precision, each word spoken with intent. It seemed like her only chance. Determination set in, pushing aside the fear that threatened to overwhelm her. With trembling hands, she gathered the necessary materials, a piece of chalk, a candle, and a mirror. Each item held a specific purpose in the ritual, and a mirror found amongst the debris. The mirror, though cracked and dusty, was essential for the ritual's success. The air crackled with unseen energy as she began the ritual, her voice a shaky whisper in the oppressive silence. Every word seemed to hang in the air, charged with power. The symbols seemed to glow with an eerie light, casting strange shadows on the walls. It was as if the symbols themselves were alive, pulsating with energy. The candle flickered, casting dancing shadows that seemed to writhe and contort. The room felt alive, filled with an otherworldly presence that watched her every move. Section 8. Fleeing into the night. As she finished the last syllable of the incantation, the shadows in the hallway seemed to recede, the whispering voices fading into an uneasy silence. The air felt lighter, the oppressive presence lifted. Taking a deep breath, Lena grabbed the journal and fled. She didn't stop running until she reached the safety of her own home, slamming the door shut behind her and leaning against it, gasping for breath. The silence of her room was deafening after the horrors she had witnessed. She had escaped the mansion, but the experience had left an indelible mark on her soul. She knew with chilling certainty that the Slender Man was real, a creature of nightmare-given form, and she had looked into its faceless visage and lived to tell the tale. Section 9. The Price of Curiosity. The journal lay open on her desk, a tangible reminder of her close encounter with the unknown. Each page was filled with cryptic notes and sketches, a testament to her relentless pursuit of the truth. She had escaped the clutches of the Slender Man, but at a price. The chase through the dark forest had left her breathless and terrified, her heart pounding in her chest like a drum. The experience had shaken her to her core, leaving her with a lingering sense of unease and a profound respect for the power of the unseen world. She often found herself staring into the void, haunted by the memories of that night. She knew that she would never forget the horrors she had witnessed in that mansion, the chilling presence that had stalked her through the darkness. The creaking floors and whispering walls seemed to echo with the voices of the past. The memory of its blank white face would forever haunt her dreams. Every night she would wake up in a cold sweat, the faceless figure looming over her in the shadows. The experience had changed her, leaving her with a profound sense of vulnerability and a deep-seated fear of the shadows. She could no longer find solace in the darkness, always feeling watched and pursued. Her curiosity, once insatiable, was now tempered with a healthy dose of caution. She approached every new discovery with trepidation, aware of the potential dangers that lurked behind every corner. She had learned the hard way that some secrets are best left buried, some mysteries better left unsolved. The journal, now closed, was a symbol of her newfound wisdom and the price she had paid for her curiosity. Section 10. The Shadow Remains. As the sun rose, casting its warm glow across her room, the light seemed to chase away the remnants of the night. She vowed to put the experience behind her, to move forward with a renewed sense of purpose and strength. But deep down, she knew that the shadow of the Slender Man would always linger, haunting her thoughts and dreams. It was a constant reminder of the darkness that lurked at the edges of her world, a darkness that could never be fully banished. Glenwood, once a place of idyllic charm, now held a sinister undercurrent. The rustling leaves, the creaking branches, and the distant howls of the wind, the whispering wind, all seemed to carry the echo of the Slender Man's presence, a presence that was felt but never seen. And Lena, forever marked by her encounter, would never truly escape the shadow's embrace. It was a part of her now, woven into the fabric of her being. The legend of the Slender Man lived on in Glenwood, growing with each retelling, whispered in hushed tones around campfires and late-night sleepovers, a tale that sent shivers down the spines of those who heard it. But for Lena, it was more than just a story. It was a reality she had lived through, a nightmare that had left its mark. It was a chilling reminder of the fragility of reality, a reality that could be shattered in an instant, and the terrifying power of the unknown, a power that lurked in the shadows, waiting to strike.